Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a product made by CChand again, the wonderful manufacturer of lovely scale products. And that product today will be the steering guard. Now this steering guard was designed for the RC4 drive Gelande 2. As written here, it is the 2015 model D90. And this product is available in two colors, and that is silver or black. So I went for the silver one. And the reason I'm doing this is to show you some of what the product looks like close up in a video, simply because when I was buying this I couldn't find any information online, or I couldn't find any clear pictures or videos. There was the product page and the description, but that's all I can find. So here's that video to help you make up your mind if you think you want to buy and use this product. Now the steering guide comes in two parts. This is the very fine, very well made mounting part. This part bolts or screws into directly your chassis. You can see two loops on the front there, and that goes underneath your bumper, and those I believe are toe rings. It comes with these lovely cutouts here. As you can see, this is some sort of coating that is black. And this part here is the main part I want to draw your attention to, and that is because in the photos and on the product page when I saw this, I thought this was going to be brilliant silver, which I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of, but instead it came like this. Now if you look very closely, on the product page it says this is an anodized silver. In person, this looks almost like it's been sandblasted, which is very, very pleasing to my eyes. I'm super stoked that it's not a glittery or shiny silver, but it looks like that rugged, raw, sandblasted steel. This also means that it picks up a lot of grease and moisture very easily, so all you have to do is put your finger on there and it will pick up the oil from your hands. This also means, I'm sorry to say, that it's probably going to scratch very, very easily, and where it does scratch, it's probably going to have shiny silver marks, which isn't a big problem. This is a miniature crawler, so it's going to have lots of wear and tear marks on it, which makes it look even more awesome, but that is something to bear in mind, and this looks absolutely amazing. The two parts connected together is going to look like this. So you line the holes up. There are 4 screw holes, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and there is 2 more holes there which are for mounting something else. I'm not too sure what that is, but it's there. The package also comes with a set of screws. That's 4 screws and 4 nuts. That's obviously where it mounts. When you mount this, you're going to want to put some Loctite on those nuts and screws. And if we have a very close look, you can see what I mean by the sandblasted look. It just looks phenomenal. I can't believe how amazing they get these miniature parts looking, and the material they use is a very, very, very strong steel. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. Right, let's get this mounted up. So if we look at the front of the Gelande 2, if you just look at the front and to the side a little bit, you will find these 2 screws here, one there and one there. That's where the mounting holes go. That's this here like that, and we're going to try and mount it up now and see how it looks. So I'm in the middle of installing everything, and I've just come over 2 small problems. Let's start with problem number 1. As I was installing this and screwing the 4 screws into their nuts, this screw here started spinning after it reached the end of its tightening point into the nut there. And even though I was clamped onto this nut with a tool and I kept screwing in, it just wouldn't screw in. And it turns out I have unfortunately stripped the threads on the actual screw. Not the whole screw, but only right at the end where it was obviously too tight and the screw threads couldn't take the stress and just decided to give in. So it's completely de-threaded on that side and it just spins. To remedy that, what I did was added some CA glue onto the threads in there where it was just about threaded on, and the nut and screw has mated together. So it's on there tight and fully secured, but if I was to do this again, and the tip that I can give you guys is tighten these ever so slightly tight, but don't overdo it. I guess I must have just gone too tight on there, so don't do that. As long as you get it a little bit tight, nip tight, and use a very good thread locker, it should be absolutely fine. Don't be me and strip the threads. Which takes us to problem number 2. When this is installed, these screws were actually quite long, as you saw before. They were about this length here. And when the steering servo turns, the screw that holds the servo arm in place was almost knocking into this screw. It wasn't knocking into it at all. It was on top, just gliding past, but it was about less than a millimeter distance from the screw. So what I did was, after installing it and thread locking everything together, I took the screws down, so any unnecessary screw space in the top there was taken down. And I did that with a Dremel, as you can see there. And now it completely clears the steering arm. So I'm going to install this now again and show you guys what it looks like. And this is what the final product looks like mounted onto your chassis. Now I have the camera mounted really low on the table, literally on the ground looking up, because on a natural angle you literally cannot see this product. You have to get down really low to kind of see the benefits of this, and I'll share a few points of how I feel about this product. I think it is a fantastic product. It's made by CChand, so if you're used to CChand products, you already know what kind of quality you're going to be receiving. But let's talk about some of the quirks. I don't think you can see from this angle, or you may be able to, but these toe rings are slanted slightly in that orientation, so it's kind of tighter at the top, but it fans out as it comes down. And that's because when this was manufactured, the mounting points are 1 to 2 millimeter too wide, so when you screw it in, it actually pulls the mounting points together to meet the chassis. And that's important because you don't want to make this too small, you will not be able to mount the screws, so naturally it was made a tiny bit wider. Unfortunately, when you screw everything in, it will pull this at an angle and make this slightly slanted. It's a tiny thing and it doesn't bother me at all, but that's something worth noting before you buy. If you're wondering how flimsy this is, it is absolutely solid. Very, very hard, very tough. It was very easy to mount, and after modifications to one of the screws, everything has great tolerances and functions brilliantly. It's important to note that the reason I ground that screw down, it wasn't because it was knocking into anything or brushing it, it was just that it was too close to be comfortable for my taste. Right now the screw has a really, really big gap between the moving parts, and that's what I really like on a build like this. So that's it. Hopefully this video shed some light and showed you a bit more detail of this steering guard. The last point I want to make is, probably I didn't say before, but if you're wondering what this is, for any noobs out there, just like me because I'm very new to this hobby, is if you're out crawling, your steering links are the first things to hit rocks here. So if you come across a big rock and it's going to come along like this, and you've got to grind into it to go up, or it protrudes a bit too much and it knocks into these links, it might throw some of them out, bend them, scratch them, or damage them. So this steering guard does exactly that. It guards your steering links and everything. So I hope this video shed some light for this product, gave you a bit more detailed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.